Here are my current grooming tools. It's more than I care to admit, but we're going to talk today about finding the perfect grooming tool for your beard. Stay tuned. Hi folks, Brian Haywood here, back with another beard series video sponsored by Chesapeake Beard Company. And today we're talking about all of the different grooming tools that you have available. I'm going to talk about the ones I'm using currently, kind of my routine, if you will. And the fact that your tools are going to change. So it does take a little bit of a time to invest and money to invest to try some different things, and also keep in the back of your mind, if you're in a growing phase, what worked this month may not work next month, and vice versa. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So you see the length my beard is right now. Mine is relatively wavy and a little bit curly. Some guys have really straight beards. If you have a really straight beard, you can probably just get away with a comb. But once it starts to become curly and wavy, you may not want to start with the comb. Everybody loves the Kent combs, and I love them in that they're high quality. But for me, if I start off with a Kent comb like this, or the one that you saw in the last video, these have the same kind of width in the teeth. I was hoping it would be a little bit wider, but it's not. This one's called a 10T. If I start with that, it's gonna snag my beard. So I kind of have to go up another level. So I usually, and this is the one that my wife had in the bathroom for years and years, it's a detangler brush. So on the detangler, I can go and not really get any snags. It's also really good to use when your beard is wet. Got to be extra careful when your beard's wet because there's more friction there. But also this allows me to comb underneath my beard and actually curl it a little bit, and get that little bit of curl starting on its way down. So I start with that, and then I kind of go from there. I've gone through phases where I blow dry it. Right now I'm not, because it's summertime, and but if I'm really in a hurry, I jump out of the shower, I've washed my beard, sometimes I will blow dry it. So when I blow dry it, I actually use something that most people don't use. I use the military style brush. This one it's a little bit looser. It's not quite as stiff as some. So I'll actually use it as I'm doing the hair dryer, and then using the cold shot on it and that kind of stuff. So I found that works really well as part of the routine if I am blow drying it. All right, and then I'll go to the Kent comb, comb it out, try to get everything going down. I also will use this particular round brush, and I don't use it necessarily because it's a round brush, but because if I use it's got a really small diameter, so on that one all my hair gets stuck on it. So another thing I wanted to tell you is, when you get a new tool, whether it's a comb or a brush, it takes some time to get adjusted to it, to figure out if it's going to work for you. So if you just try it a day or two and throw it in the drawer, you need to get it back out later and try it, because it may work a little bit better later on. You've got to figure out, okay, do I go through it slow? Do I go fast? You'll see some guys and they're just like doing this. Well, because that's what works for them. Slower can be better, but also sometimes slower will snag your beard more than combing it fast. So you've got to figure out what works for your current beard, for your routine. So on this one, it's a little bit more compact teeth on it than what you've got on this one. So a lot of times I'll just kind of go straight down with it. Okay, and yes, I can kind of curl it out a little bit, but if I stick it way in there, it's going to get stuck, and I don't want that. Okay, a lot of times after I put my beard oil or balm in, I will use that round brush, and then sometimes I'll use the Kent comb, and then sometimes, a lot of times I'll finish off with the military style brush, or boar's hair brush. And then the last tool to use always is your hands. You can kind of shape it the way you want. And for me, when I travel or on a day-to-day basis, I'll have this smaller travel pocket comb in my pocket. It's a 0T or an OT. It's got a little bit more wider teeth that I have to use very carefully. I can kind of use it out here on the sides to keep it calm. And then the narrower teeth I can use on my mustache. My mustache is a little bit bigger. So I showed you the really small, tiny mustache comb, which helps me sometimes if I'm trying to curl up the ends. But a lot of times I'll use something a little bit bigger like this particular comb. So let me know in the comments which combs or brushes that you've tried that works for you, and maybe the ones that don't work for you. And let me plant that seed to go back and try some of those things that you've got stuck in a drawer. And they might not have worked for you 3 months ago, but they might work for you now. All right, thanks. Take care.